Hello Pioneers, I hope you're well. My name is Bed and this is Satisfactory. In this episode we're going to discuss and then build Neptune, previously codenamed Project Venice. But before we get to building, we have to talk shop. Well, talk math, and also talk about something very important, one of the greatest alt recipes available in the game, in my opinion. You know the one where we turn water into fuel. No, not that one. No packaging required. I'm talking about this one, the one in a blender, which we just so happen to now have. Let's work it out. Sprawling in the waters off the west coast of the continent, Neptune will primarily be used for power generation. A lot of power generation. The 4 oil nodes shown here in the islands include 2 pure and 2 normal crude oil nodes, which when all fully overclocked will provide us with 1,800 cubic meters of pure, delicious black gold every single minute. The first step to processing all of this oil is to use the alt recipe for heavy oil residue shown here. A single refinery can turn 30 crude oil per minute into 40 heavy oil residue, in addition to 20 polymer resin per minute. We'll come back to the polymer resin later, as I don't have a specific need for it in this factory. We're all power focused at the moment, baby. But broadly and as needed, we can use this polymer resin to create plastic, rubber, or even fabric down the line. Here comes the magic. In a blender, we can take 50 heavy oil residue, add to it 100 cubic meters of water per minute to create a whopping 100 fuel per minute. 100! That's a lot. However, to make things easy on us, since the refinery only makes 40 heavy oil residue per minute, we'll simply underclock the blender to utilize 40 heavy oil residue, forming the basis for a little module, requiring 30 oil input per minute and using a single refinery, a single blender, and a single water extractor to create 80 fuel per minute, which is enough fuel to create a gigawatt of power. Now we'll see if we want to burn off the 80 fuel with 4 regular fuel generators, or perhaps just 2 overclocked, or even mix and match. That part isn't really important at this stage. So one last quick calculation and we're ready for design. 1,800 oil per minute, and each module using 30 oil per minute each, means we have enough oil from these 4 nodes to create 60 modules, or 60 gigawatts of electricity. 60,000 megawatts. That's a lot of spicy. How cool would that be if that was enough? Not. But it's close. But it's pretty close. Where did I even have that little bit of bauxite production? I thought it was just, yeah, it's just right down there. Where is the bauxite I brought in? It's been a while since I've played. I needed a little bit of a break, and it was holiday times, so we've had a lot of family time and stuff like that, so it's good to be back. Awesome. Okay, so here we are at bauxite. I cannot for the life of me remember where I got the bauxite before. I couldn't find it on the map anywhere. None of the resource nodes are checked like they're in use, so my guess is, maybe you can remind me, but I suspect I put portable miners on them before, so that's what I'm gonna do now. I must have changed my settings. Look at how terrible my render distance is right now. Look at this. That far away, no foliage. Alright, we've already got a lot of bauxite. I'm pretty positive that that's going to be plenty, so run back over to Cinder and try it out. I wish that was a shorter trip than it was. It actually took quite a while, but okay, I'm in good spirits. I'm happy. How are you doing? Let me know down in a comment below. I have been missing Satisfactory, so I'm pretty excited to get back here into it. So what we're gonna do with a alumina solution. Okay, that's right. Let's take another refinery. And so again, this isn't like our actual aluminum production, so I'm not too worried about it. All right, drop down another refinery. Grab ourselves, what kind of number are we dealing with here? 120 per minute. So let's grab a Mark 1 pipeline. Plug it in. Select. Is this... That's petroleum coke, this is coal. So we'll do that one because I can go and get coal from Cinder. Drop the coal in, give it some power, and now we've got our aluminum scrap. And with the scrap, and then we'll just put it into a foundry. And select aluminum ingot. And we're gonna have to power it up and put silica in it, so. Let's do that. And we're shortest on casings. So we'll make those first. Oh, we need to get rid of this water. So honestly, the easiest way to do that is just to put a pipe on there right there and do a full network flush. And a flush. So we can get a little bit more time between flushes so I can actually turn my attentions towards literally anything else. Build ourselves a little buffer. And there, I love it. This is not great, but it's ours. There we go, back home. And, oh, we... I forgot to do the copper part that I said. So that's okay, we can do that part together. Because we've got copper ingots just over here. And all we have to do is just craft them in to just 2 all-clad sheets. So where do we smelt the copper? Right here. Yeah, brilliant. Got plenty. We've got a workbench over here. And we'll just hammer these up. 1, 2, 3. All done. There. So dumb, but that was easy, and I like easy. And we're back. There we go. Easy as pie, or potatoes, or something. Now that we've done that and unlocked the blender, we can take hard drive. We have any? We do have 2. And I knew that we had some because we had previously scanned all of these recipes here, all of our alternative recipes. Okay, so we don't have any specific video or photo or anything like that that we're using as inspiration for Venice. Just the idea that we're going to have a lot of small repeatable buildings that we can then go back and color to make them look different. And so we'll have them kind of staggered. So the first step is going to be having foundations of concrete. And then we're going to just build it out like so. So these will snap together using the advanced blueprint build mode. And they'll be empty little shells, and what we'll do is we will put the machines inside of them and then apply a roof. I think I'm spitballing here, but I think we'll use this whole 5x5 Mark II blueprint as the shell module, and we'll just click them all down, and then we'll build the walkways and trainways and stuff like that after. I'm starting to feel a little bit of panic set in that I think I want to find an inspirational photo. So I'll be right back. Okay, so the first image I found on Google was this one, and I like that for the front of the facades because you can see on the left side there, and I'm talking about the main building on the forward, center, and right portions there, you'll see like the left half has those arches and is open with like a pathway and a door, and then the right side is like a wall with some windows. So if we repeat that over and over again, and we can change up the color and decorate it maybe if we want to, but if we take that and we just repeat them over and over again, it'll be an alternating pattern, but it won't just be all the same. And then I really like this photo for the back of it. The backs are going to be really plain, And probably just be the same. We'll have like a door and a couple windows, and then just have it be flat. And then we'll do one side so that they kind of click together in a way that's cool. And I'd like to do some specialty buildings. For example, this image right here is so cool. I mean, we'll have a few buildings like this. I also just realized this image that I found, the one for the arch for the front of these tessellating or tileable builds or whatever, are already like they're marked up. I didn't do that. That's just how the photo was. I didn't even notice it. Honestly, my eye was caught by the arches in the water. So what I'm trying to say is here, I think we're not gonna have enough room for multiple arches. Let's just do one arch. And I don't want those. I want it to be smooth, so we're gonna overlap them. Just one. Yeah, one little click like that to get them smooth. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna have to do it this way because I can't go outside the blueprinter, right? So. Alright, and then we're gonna go same thing here. I'll go right to that height there, so. Alright, now we need to find the center point, which won't be hard because it is only 10, so we'll just go to 5. There, now we can use that technique. I was thinking diagonal mode could help me stay in the right plane without having to think as much, but it's not going to work that way. Go check the hard drive. It's surely been 10 minutes. So we get something good. Turbo blend fuel. That sounds awesome. If it didn't sound so awesome, I'd re-roll it to see if we can get what I'm actually after, but maybe that's the one we want instead. Don't know. Alright, now let's add on some, like, the front wall. That's actually perfect right there. I want this in vertical build mode. So, yeah, I'm just spitballing ideas. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do or what I have in mind. I guess I want it to be detailed so it's cool looking. But I'm not really sure otherwise how to do anything with that. I put it there. And then I'm going to draw freeform. What if we do that? What if we do 7616? Okay. Oh my gosh. That is frustrating. It's so close to being perfect. I like where I'm headed though. What if instead of 7616 we go to 8062? 8062. If I go back in like 3 like that, and then there. Like that, I can't. Yeah, I like that, okay. Here we go, diluted fuel. Leached copper ingot, that's really cool, but no, this diluted fuel is exactly what I'm after here. Anyway, we can do the same thing over here. We'll go back up. Go up 3 meters. Alright, let's move that in. Move it over. Something like that. How do we feel about that? What if we go in 1.5 meters like that? So 1.5. I grab some sort of wall. Alright, so what if we had walls like that, and then like a big concrete pillar? Can I move this? Can I nudge this? Oh, I can. How is this not outside the blueprinter? Alright, looks like we're able to overlap the blueprinter with these pillars. Which is weird, but helpful for this situation. Take a little step back and... yeah, it's not crazy... not crazy epic. But it's not terrible. It's not very much like our... not very much like our inspirational photo at all, but... you know, I could probably put a ceiling on right away because I can just fly in like that. I like that even better. Or what if we do it with a small one, like... yeah, it's cool and adds a whole different depth. Okay, let's take more concrete wall and zoom it along this side right here and put a double power outlet so we can string these together. Okay, something like that perhaps, and then outlet. Let's figure out the roof first. What are we going to be putting in these things? Probably a whole ton of refineries. So we have, it looks like 6 meters maybe? Bigger manufacturers. Manufacturers are much smaller. Anything else bigger? What, a blender? No, blenders aren't big. Fuel generators. Seems to be slightly shorter or maybe the same height as a refinery. Something, I don't know. But it's good. But it's really good. Here, we're gonna want just more walls, I reckon. Something like that. And you know what? Maybe in the middle we'll do something different like we did over here with a pillar or something. Like, let's see, where is it? Something like this. I think it's okay. I think we're gonna have to spend a little bit more time going in by hand and kind of modifying stuff. Roof. Flat roof. Since it goes right up to the top, we might have to settle for designing a separate roof blueprint and doing that. I wonder what the roofs look like. Okay. Let's take a look back at that picture that has like the crenellations at the top. What if we might regret doing this? Everything should be replaceable. An adjacent buildable, if you know what I mean. Like, if I need to pull this back, I can just take each piece and duplicate it upward. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, what if we do it right here, the roof? So what if we have a flat roof? Something like this, but not in that material. Metal roof is cool. And it goes. Oh man, I really like the look of those metal roofs. And I want it to go this way. Where's the lip piece? Is there not one on this? Oh. Do you know what I mean by the lip piece? Like on the flat roof right here. It's got that trim. Yeah, it's that trim piece, and so it sticks out even more than you'd think. And I don't think the metal roof has that. No, it must, right? Like, I think it's just a different skin. Let's find it. And then let's go back to the fix-it roof. If it goes like that. Yeah, there you can see it. See how it's different size? But I think that's... Oh, that's way cooler. That's way cooler. I'm glad I don't think I've ever used a metal roof, to be honest. Alright, now instead of crenellations, we have railings. I'm not going to want these to be the same on all of them. So I'm going to put down a low barrier. But I'm going to anticipate changing that up a lot. Double wall outlet Mark II. Oh, bugger. Let's do a wall outlet Mark II. And I'll just clip it in the back, or... I don't know, I'm not going to worry too much about this. I want this to be easy. Okay, now right in the center we're going to put a light. We can see. Alright, and now I'll add a power line. From there to there. Somewhere down the line we can add like a lights control panel. Doesn't need to be in the blueprint. What else are we going to need? Probably won't need more than just the one outlet anywhere, because we're only going to be able to fit 1 or 2 machines in each of these. Yeah, this is going along. If you don't know what's going on right now and you've made it this far through the video, I am excited to show you what's coming next, because I think this is going to be a lot of fun to put together as far as projects go. Now, we've got a light. We've got ideas. We've got the basics of a blueprint. We do not need to fill in this wall here, because that wall of the blueprint that gets snapped to that side will be that wall. We do need a back wall. You know what I was just thinking? In a lot of places I'm planning to have these butt up back to back. And if I was to butt these up back to back, we wouldn't need back, because it would be like a front there, and if we snapped one to the back of it facing the other way, you'd have the front there, and you wouldn't be able to see inside. I'm trying to think that maybe I don't even want any walls, right? Because if I have it all open, it'll be a lot easier to lay machines, and I could even straddle these. In fact, on our way over to the west coast, why don't we just finish off railway signaling? That way the, what's it called, the dropship the freighter can return. So we need 400 pipes and 1,000 copper sheets, which should be all in our dimensional depot. Brilliant. Let's grab a power line, take it with us, and just go and see what we can CCC out here on the west coast in the CCC. I think, you know, I want to go all the way down there eventually. But I think for right now, I'm just going to arbitrarily start, like, right there. Okay, what if we just put our first module in right here then? Also, I see this sticking out right there too, which means I already have something to correct before we go any further, because I don't want to duplicate this issue over and over again, so there's no way I could just delete that, right? It's not going to look right, no. I certainly don't want to run all the way back to build another Mark II designer, so it feels kind of silly, but I think honestly just tacking, zooping over a pillar like that actually breaks this whole thing up in a way that I think is actually pretty cool. But I don't like that flickering there, so let's see if we can't move it in just a tad, right? Like, Come on. Is that cool or stupid? Okay, I kind of love it. Something like that. Geez, now that I'm out here, I'm feeling all inspired to add some more, like, depth to it. Alright, that's pretty good. Let's do a quick fly around to see if we can see any more errors like that. So I don't not see them and start putting out a bunch of these. This I'm aware of, I saw that. But what I can do is when I lay down the next one, I could just put one in right there. And it shouldn't overlap. We'll test that first thing. Okay, we're so close to getting ready to plop these down en masse. In massive jungleless okay, so here's something I learned though. Water extractors can be placed until about there. Check it out. Isn't that annoying? Even though we can go out that way and probably fit another 2 or 3 modules, we can't put water extractors out there. So any of the power generation, anything that needs water, we're going to have to put in modules on this side. And then, you know what we'll do is we'll just put our logistical modules out here, like a train network type of thing. And one more thing I thought about, which I'm going to cut past, so you don't have to sit and watch any more of me messing with a blueprinter. But I want to put some different types of modules in already. I want to make a side, like a left side and a right side. So this one has the right wall. So I'm going to recall this one Venice module right. And then we'll take out the wall, put a wall in over here, do it again. Okay, let's come back over here where we can actually place the water extractors and start putting down our first modules. And yeah, let's just do the first one right here. So this will be a left module, about the right height. That's kind of perfect, I think. And now we can grab a middle. Turn on blueprint mode. Blueprint mode build. Oh man. Let's help old bed out here. There we go. Center module now. And then I think we should be able to fly right in here, and we should be able to put down a right module by looking right at the edge here. Now that should be enough space, right? Let's see how it looks from the outside. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. Let's make sure it'll fit everything in it though. So the crude oil will be coming from there. In fact, I might just repurpose this as a support for pipeline. Pull it in right here. Let's turn on the lights. Yeah, and then we can even chain them, the lights just like that. That really came together pretty well, I think. So, we know the first thing I need. So, we know the first thing that we need is a refinery. So, what if we just plop it down here? It almost doesn't matter. I guess we want as much space down there in front of me as possible. And this needs to make heavy oil residue. Maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. Maybe I should grab the power generators first. And what if we just line them up? I think it might be as simple as that. We don't really need to cram these in here. We actually, the goal, my goal is to have this be very sprawling, right? So 1, 2, 3. Can we fit a fourth one? Oh my god, we can. But that doesn't leave a ton of space for the blender and water extractor. These water extractors are pretty big. I bet we could cram all this in there, but that doesn't sound as awesome as just building another module. So what we can do is we'll just add 2 centers, and then at the end we'll add a right. And this is going to give us plenty of room. We can spread out, take our time, and just really let it come together on its own. This whole project's going to be awesome. I think we should be able to spread out even more now doing this. So can we make it fit now? No, it should be able to fit there, I think. Move the refinery. What if we take out a big chunk here? Drop a water extractor down. I think I built this just too close to the edge. I'm having problems putting the water extractor down. Just take all this out and try again. Not a big deal. It's the beauty of blueprints, right? Alright, take that little part out right there. Put our water extractor in. Resource is not deep enough. What kind of nonsense are you giving me? Can I just not place this inside of a blueprint? Is that a known thing? It's a major issue. What if we get rid of... my... And then what if we put a water extractor down? And then can we clip the blueprint over it and then dig it out? And then grab a blueprint right. I have no idea if this is going to work. Looks like it might. I don't love it, but it will work. And we only have to do this 60 times. And then the blueprint right. And once we get this working, I'll set up a new hotbar and we should be able to fly right through this. Maybe do a time lapse and just actually start and finish a project, even one massive like this, in a relatively short amount of time. Alright, now let's cut out the water extractor. See if we can't hit this somehow. And now I can't delete that block. That is very frustrated right now. No, I'm not frustrated. I'm trying to force it into working when I could just provide an easier solution, which would be more blueprints. Right? We just need to make blueprints with the cutouts. That'll give us enough room to put some piping in. Alright, it's not the most elegant solution, but I'm just troubleshooting here, right? Like, I don't really know what else to do. Alright, now we can place the refinery next to the water extractor. I like this. There we go. We may as well line up one of them. So we'll just do the water. Diluted fuel. Let's just grab some pipes and go with it. Hook up the water, hook up the heavy oil residue. And now we just need to plug everything in. And I think we're golden. Well, we're not quite done, are we? We would need to deal with the polymer resin. That could be done just with a sink for right now. And Bed's your uncle. Even better than that would be to run a line of foundation that way to run the crude oil pipe. Place a wall like that, and then butt up the new module here, like so. Okay, before I do a time lapse, I want to show something off. I built this fuel generator. I pre-attached the pipe in the junction, and I ran up a power outlet to the ceiling. So now you can just drop these down, and they'll already be mostly hooked up. We'll have to connect them to each other because that's the way blueprints in this game work. And I realized that the power line going straight up is going to maybe clip into this portion right here, these foundations I'm looking at. And I don't like that. And it also clipped through right there. So I deleted them from that one. And I was looking at it and I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. I hate that anyway. And I don't mind it being open. I think it looks kind of cool. So I was also trying to think about colors and how I want to color each of these. And I think what I'll do is I'll at some point make every module, or like maybe like have like 3 or 4 different color palettes, and we'll color them all kind of like Venetian themed or Neptune themed or something blue or something pastel-y. I don't know. And then I was thinking about how this line right here, if we run the crude oil out here on that, it's going to block the waterway. So we need to build some sort of bridge. Just something like that repeating. We'll figure it out as we go, but let's just get cooking. Hilariously, and not anticipated by anybody, I have made several oversights. Which never happens, right? First oversight. This uses a lot of concrete. I've gone and fetched, I think, 25 to 30,000 concrete 2 or 3 times now, and then I've been taking it out of my dimensional depot as it fills like that to save me from running over there, or from launching over there. And I just do not have enough concrete. It's absolutely insane. So far we've got not all the insides done, but this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 modules of the 60. So I'm only a sixth of the way done, and then I used a bunch of concrete for that one as well. That's going to be, you can see it's broken up a little bit right there by about 6-8 meters, little gaps there. But that far end one over there is going to be a railway. And then I also want to start filling in south as well. However, I don't have enough concrete. I'm going to need to either increase concrete production or more likely spread finishing this build out, which is a little disappointing. I had it in my head that I was going to just get it all done and start filling in over there with some horizontally angled modules and get it all the way up there. But I'm really making good progress, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it, and I really like the way this is turning out, even though it's not quite as epic. You know, it doesn't look like Venice, it's awfully repetitive. but I just don't have the time. I don't have the time or capability to sit and design custom buildings for each one of these. So I am pleased by what I have done, but I need to take a little break. Another oversight. Blenders require aluminum to make heavy modular frames and aluminum casings, which I do not have automated. So we're pivoting, because that's what I do when I come up against a hiccup. Instead of, you know, freaking out and then getting overworked or over anxious and then stopping, we're gonna pivot. And then once we get our aluminum production done, we'll come back and finish Neptune here. So I love it. I'm okay with this. I'm pretty happy about it, actually. So what I need to do first is get some oil going. All right, so we need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we can run up the power line, which will help our hover pack. All right, now we need the stackable pipeline supports. We need 2 of those. We need the hypertube. We need another one of those first, and then the hypertube stack. All right. Now we can connect this to the power grid and delete that power line. Connect these pipes up, and then this is the, we're just wrapping this up real quick, and then we're gonna just move on. Get some hypertube action. I don't really have a plan for this, but I'm including it anyway. There. So now we need to fill this tube with 600 oil. So this is a pure. This gets us 600. So let's steal it from there. Okay, perfect. Looks to be higher than 10 meters, so we're not going to have enough head lift. I was wrong. All right, so now we've got crude oil in at least one of our pipes. So now let's pipe that over to the prepared modules. That's the level we want to be on. So what I could do... Ooh, they don't match. That is okay though. Need to get a floor hole. And then it needs to be lined up right there. All right, one thing I was, oops, that's gonna be annoying. One thing I was unable to do was to put a double-sided outlet right there. And I'm okay with that. I have the single-sided one there, but I do want to replace them, I'm pretty sure. It won't be too much trouble to do it by hand after. It has to be done, what, 60 times or so? But I think it'll be a lot cleaner for running the pipeline, the power into it, so. So now let's grab pipeline junction. We'll run it right that. 1, 2. Perfect. Run one more side. 1, 2. Now the blueprint for this includes this outlet right here, so I need to connect these. Now we just need to provide it with crude oil. Just simply pipeline Mark II. Yeah, but that's going to do it for this episode. It's just going to have to be the way it is. We're going to have to go slower than I intended because I need aluminum production. All of this power should greatly help us get on the way there. And so I'm pretty excited about that. And while we're building aluminum, say we need more power, we can just come on over here and flip some more machines, flip some more modules on once we get them built, and it should be pretty easy. I'm looking forward to getting into major train usage and start building some bigger factories, because I know we're not really that close to the end, but I feel like we're going to ramp up pretty quick when we get the train infrastructure in. And then before long, we'll be building Grave to send out the last phase of space elevator parts. So we'll get into that and so much more just real soon now. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye now.
Bad plays games.